single day. You ain't on.
Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I am your host, Dr. G, and I am so glad that you could keep our appointment. Now, tonight's guest needs really no introduction. He is a frequent guest, a frequent flyer here on the Office Hours with Dr. G, and popular all around the globe. So I'm just pleased to be able to call on him when I need him. I'm talking about Real Nagas, or some of you know him as Kevin Barringer. Let me tell you a little bit about him in case you don't know. He started off as a Christian, found inconsistencies and contradictions in the church and the Bible as a child. And after not finding answers to his questions about the church, he prayed to God, to the universe, to just show him the truth, no matter what it was. And soon after his heartfelt plea for truth, Kevin was introduced to alternative knowledge by way of a book called The New World Order by Ralph Epperson, which led him on a 25-year path of extensive research and study into a multitude of topics, from ancient world, Moorish history, secret societies and symbolism, movie symbolism, Khemetan, mystical, metaphysical sciences such as alchemy, astrology, and the science of melanin, political sciences, world governments, esoteric fitness and nutrition, to Aboriginal constitutional and police stop law. Now, Kevin, aka Real Nagas' mission is to pass on the information the universe has entrusted within him to help restore, elevate, and evolve the consciousness of all melanated people and the world as a whole. Now, tonight, I'm just so happy that he agreed to kick it with me. So we decided, or I decided, to call this segment A Whole Lot of Ish to Talk About, because Kevin is so knowledgeable that he can talk about anything. I know he's like looking at me like, yeah Dr. J. But I hope to help me welcome back to Office Hours with Dr. G for the I don't know how many times of my good friend Real Nagas, aka Kevin Barringer.
Hello, what's up, everybody? Hey, Dr. G.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm always doing great.
I know that's right. And tonight, you already scolded me. Chest.
You don't look. Don't start that.
No, I deserve it. But the trooper you are, I appreciate you. When I call on you, most of the time, I'm able to, you'll say, okay, Dr. G, but what you want to talk about? And I'm like, Kevin, you can talk about anything because you know everything.
No,
and
I don't know everything.
I know a whole lot of ish, right? So
yeah, I know a whole lot of ish, right?
You know a whole lot of ish. And so tonight, I appreciate you coming on. Now, I don't come on as frequently as I, did when you first started coming on, which was every Tuesday. I've kind of been trying to do like 2 Tuesdays a month, and just to kind of give myself a break, and 2, because it is such a challenge a lot of times to get guests, good guests that have something that they can actually present to my viewers that will be of interest. I mean, folks do, some folks call me about certain things, and you have to decide whether or not, or I do, whether or not it fits in the parameters of what folks expect. You know what I mean? And it's not to downplay the significance of what others are having to present, but all platforms don't necessarily cover the same genre, if you will, of when it comes to those things of interest. And then believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe, but there are some folks that actually turn me down. I don't think I'm big enough.
What?
Okay, I can't even say that. I can't even get that in there. But yeah, I absolutely. So if one in particular that I'm thinking about sees this, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Put them on blast, damn it. Put them on blast, damn it. You here to drop knowledge from the universe. You ain't here to be like, oh, your audience is too small. Well, I can't get enough people to hear my message, so I ain't gonna. No, you drop it. If it's one person that needs to hear your damn message, you drop the damn knowledge.
There you go. But speaking of my audience, I know there's some other stuff going on tonight. Another class going on that I know about, that I know a lot of folks are wanting to tune in and get that information. But I also want to ask those that are on here if you would hit that like and that share right now. So let folks know that office hours is on and popping with real Nagas in the house. And we never know what where you go. Oh, I kind of lost him, y'all. But we never know what's going to be what is going to be said. I'm going to give him a chance to come back on. But in the meantime, I'll take this opportunity for those of you who are here to share something that I was going to share anyway. Y'all probably say she always got something up her sleeve. She's always begging for something or something. So I'm going to add him to the stream. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't see you, Kevin. Okay, there you go. Okay, there's your background picture. But while are you going to come back on visually, or are we going to just see your
No, I'm should be here. The camera. Oh, hold on.
Okay. Well, okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna put this up right there, right here. Listen, I'm gonna put it up in the front, and it says that your help is needed. I have found a platform. We've been putting up about having Zoom classes or private classes, and also a platform for the women already. And when you start to look at these different platforms like Zoom and others, the cost is so crazy, and the number of participants doesn't even match up with the number of folks that we have that really want to be a part of this. So I found this platform that can host up to 10,000 viewers and multiple presenters, but I got to pay 2,500 notes within the next 5 days in order to secure what's a lifetime half price annual rate. Usually it's like $5,000 for this, but I can lock it in at 2508, and I figured out that if at least 500 of my viewers would donate 5 notes, then we can actually begin scheduling those much needed and highly requested webinars and private meetings. You'll be able to register through this platform. It's a platform that I'm already familiar with. They just added this feature, which excites me because I've been looking for months, because we got all of these sisters that really want to be a part of the war, and we have a lot of sisters and brothers that want the private classes, that webinars and seminars. Well, we have something that we can hold up to 10,000 virtually, and it's not one of those shadow ban sites. So if you are down with what I'm trying to do and can send 5 notes, hey, 500 of you, 5 notes. I'm going to have to try to figure it out anyhow, but we'll be able to secure it, and that's for the year. And every year, of course, it normally would be $5,000, but now it'll be 2508, and we'll be able to do a lot of things with this. So I'll see what happens. If it comes in, we'll be able to do it, but I got to do it within the next 5 days. So, Kevin, I had shared that with you before we went live, and so I put that up there. Anywho, but we have a whole lot of ish to talk about, and Kevin, I wanted to share with you, or I shared with you a little earlier about like the calls that I get, the questions that I get from Moors all around who are find themselves in different situations and so forth, and are looking to House of Reawakening Minds, and mostly to Grand Sheik Tashariq Bey for a way out of whatever the situation is. I get calls all the time. You said emails and messages of
all the time.
All the time.
Every day. Just got one, got a couple this morning.
Right. And I wanted to, we were talking yesterday about the Know Your Rights Foundation. And I didn't even, read about that say anything about that in your bio, but the Know Your Rights Foundation, please, you would explain to us what is the mission and purpose of the Know Your Rights Foundation.
Well, the basic mission is to teach the community their basic police stop law, so that you don't get your rights violated. So that's our main goal right now. Our first step, or the foundation of our foundation right now, is education, because when most people get pulled over by the police, your rights are violated 99% of the time because you don't know them. So just small stuff like not talking to the police, stuff like that. So I give you an example. Most people, they think the police are supposed to read you your rights when they arrest you. That's not a law. So the reason that police, they read you, or they're supposed to read you your rights after they arrest you, is when they want to question you. That's the only time they have to read you your rights. That you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you refuse to give that, all that type of stuff, anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. You have a right to attorney, all that stuff. So they found a way around it. So when the police pulls you over, they come up on you, the very first thing, most of the time they pull you over and they don't really have a reason why they pulled you over. They walk up to you and they'll make up something actually after what's called a pretextual stop, meaning they can follow you, wait for you to do something wrong, like just change lanes without signaling, then pull you over. Or they can just make up something and say, they pull you over and say, well, you didn't have your seatbelt on, or your light is out, your left light, your turn signal is out, or something like that. But when they walk up to you, they'll say, first of all, they're supposed to tell you why they pulled you over. But they'll say, hey, how you doing? They'll try to talk to you, build up a rapport, and then they'll ask you, so where you coming from? And you think he's nice, you think he or she is nice. And you're like, oh, well, we're coming from dinner. Oh, nice. Did you guys have a nice night? Oh yeah, it's me and my wife's anniversary. We're just getting out. We barely get out. But, oh, nice, man. Me and my wife, we go out every now and then too. It's hard for me to, as a police officer, I'm working 12 hours, man. So you guys get any drink? Get anything to drink? You say, oh yeah, we had a glass of wine. We had maybe a glass of, oh, okay. Because I smelled a little something coming from the car. I just smelled a little something. You mind if I give you a, sobriety test? You see, and then one thing leads to the next. And so you've incriminated yourself. That's why you don't answer. You're not supposed to answer questions. Police will ask you questions. They can ask you as many questions as they want before they arrest you. That's why they asking you. That's why they seem like they're trying to be nice and cool. And police officer ain't never trying to be cool with you. He don't know you at all. And I'll say not all the time. Some police officers are actually really cool. They are cool. I met them. They pulled me over. But for the most part, they're trying to get you to incriminate yourself so they can build up to an arrest. So most of us don't know that. Just the fact that when they walk up to you and they ask you for your ID, and they have no reason to ask you for your ID, you don't have a right. You don't have an obligation to give up your ID unless you have committed, in the midst of committing, or about to commit a crime. But you don't know how to articulate that. So, some people have heard that. So they'll say, well, you look suspicious. Let me get your ID. Well, suspicion is not a crime. You have to suspect me of a specific crime, and then you have to be able to articulate that crime in order for me to be detained. If you can't articulate that crime, then it's an unlawful detainment. And so 99% of melanated people who get pulled over, it's always an unlawful detainment. Most of the time they violate your right. So if you don't know that, then how can you defend your rights? Like those little kids in that what's that the Central Park Five. Those I always go back to those kids, huh?
I said, yeah, those young men.
Yeah, those young men. If you because I didn't watch the whole video that came out on Netflix, but I saw the actual interviews of the children, and so you can those videos are online, and so the police officers are interrogating the children in the room, and they're leading them into saying that they committed the crime, and the kid is like they're 13, 14, they don't know. They have no idea. They told them if they admitted it, they would get to go home that night. So that's why the kids are like, well, and then they're like, well, didn't you do this? And then because they were asking the kid what he did, and he was like, well, we were over here on this side of the park, but then they said, then you went over here and you did this, right? See, they started doing that, and they were supposed to have a lawyer there, and their parents were there, but the parents didn't even know enough law to know that they should have just a lawyer there to say, we plead the fifth. We're not answering any questions, and all of them would have went home that night. But because they didn't know basic law, they went to jail from 7 to 14 years.
And they were innocent. That's a good point, because I thought initially everything about know your rights and police stops had to was regarding stops that happened behind the wheel. Mm-hmm. When you're navigating and you get stopped, but any unlawful stop, right? That they just anytime that a policy enforcer tries to get you to engage with him or her and whatever. You told me about some young people who a 17-year-old who had actually grown up knowing the law, which is something probably we all should learn. As the younger you are, when you learn some things, the more ingrained it becomes and more automatic it is, and you're able to respond when those situations come up. But they were with, you said, some it was a melanated young man along with some non-melanated, but the non-melanated wanted to chatter, and you said the boy said, shut up.
Yeah, this was a 17-year-old in Texas. So every Sunday we hold a police stop law class where we go over police stops. And so you can, if you want to do that, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/realnagas, and you can join the police stop class level. So every Sunday we do those, and so we show the interactions of police. And so the last couple of weeks we showed a couple teenagers, actually, not just that one kid, but that one kid, he was in Texas, and they were skateboarding in an area that the police officers were trying to say it was a street. It was supposed to be a road, but there were no cars that went on the road. So they were just, you could see where the road was, where the cars were going. So they were like, the cars are over there. Cars aren't allowed in this area. So they were skating, and they pulled them up, they jacked them up, and they got the darkest brother. So they got the darkest kid, the little kid there, and they tried to jack him up. And then the other melanated kid, he pulled out his phone and started saying, do you have reasonable articulable suspicion? What do we do? Well, he started killing them. And then the police officer, get back over there. He was like, no, I don't have to get away. 10 feet, the Supreme Court has ruled 10 feet is enough. And you need to go over there and you need to do that. And he was directing the police officer. I mean, he was killing. It was like 7 police officers out there and about four kids. And he was killing all 7 police officers. None of them wanted to talk to him. Every time the police officer tried to say something, he countered it with the law, because his father was a police officer and his mother was a Texas Ranger, who taught him what to do if the police tried to pull him over, because they know the tactics. So they taught him how to counter that stuff, right? So he had one of his friends who was out there. The police tried to pull him to the side and tried to talk to him on the side, and was like, yeah, come in. And he looked at him, he said, shut up, Chris. he looked over there, he said, shut up, Chris. Chris was like, he was like, oh. So that little kid owned that whole police stop, and they all got let go in the end, because that kid knew his rights. And so another little 17-year-old, same thing. He got pulled over by the police. He was clowning. He was talking crazy. This little kid was talking crazy to the police. He was talking all kind of smack. And the police had to let him go. Again, you don't have any obligation to talk to a police officer if you have not violated the law. But they know the badge and the gun and the big intimidating, they know all of that kind of, kind of intimidates you, and then you'll just, don't hurt me, officer, just don't hurt me. And you'll keep calling the officer sir, while they violating your right, left and right. But sir, they'll have you, but sir, and you getting your ass beat. But
But again, we talked about, because a lot of, like the calls I started out talking about, you get the calls. I find it interesting that a lot of times, and some of them, you may not agree with me in the chat, but the calls I get, when I get right, it's a desperation call. But when you ask the questions, the pointed questions, so exactly how did you get, what led up to this? How did you get, because now you definitely want help to get out of it, but how did you get in it? And to me, in most instances, the response I get is that they didn't do something. A lot of times folks are not doing certain things because of the information that is out there about we Moors, and as a Moor, we don't have to pay this. We don't have to, and I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm not saying that it's not true, because we definitely are Moors. We definitely, it's our land. But the situation, I see it as we are in it, as it stands right now, we are under their jurisdiction for the most part. And when, I'm not going to say when in Rome do as the Romans do, but if you tell me that you lost your right to travel or to drive, in this case drive, and maybe you are a CDL, a truck driver, so you do drive, and now you cannot, because why? Because I didn't pay the tickets. Well, one, you got tickets, and two, you didn't pay them. You didn't pay them, and you still want to drive, under the jurisdiction of having a CDL, but you want a Moorish way of getting out.
You don't want to do the work before you get in trouble. You want somebody to come and save you. You want the laws now to come and save you after you got yourself in trouble. And that's not, I don't work like that. Don't hit me up if you done got your ass in trouble late already. I'm not a lawyer. Call a lawyer. So, but I will teach you the law. I will teach you how to challenge and not get into trouble in the first place. That's the whole point. Just like I'm a personal trainer. I'm not a doctor, so I teach preventative health care, meaning how not to get sick in the first place. You get sick, you gotta go call an herbalist, a holistic practitioner, somebody like that, because who deals with that. For me, though, I'm going to teach you how not to get sick in the first place. So I'm going to teach you how not to get your ass in trouble in the first place, and that's by knowing your rights. If you don't know your rights, you will get smashed. Like so the other night, at Saturday night, let me show you something somebody sent me.
You want to share?
Yeah, I'm about to share. This is a text I got at 1:30 in the morning, 1:37 in the morning. This person's in Texas, so it was 3:30 in the morning for them. So they hit me up at 1:30 in the morning, and they go, "Hey, I know it's late." This is the homie D. Shout out to D. He said, "I know it's late, but guess who just got stopped by the cops? Handed him my Know Your Rights documents, and was like, yep." And he was like, "Yep, not fucking with you tonight. You free to go." And then he said he did say it was cool, and where could he get one? And then I was like, "Oh, that's what's up, bro." He handed him. So we have these documents right here, a constitutional right. Oh, you probably can't see that.
I can't see it because
there it is. So the constitutional rights card, and then this is a qualified immunity notice card, and this is the notice.
You can't see it, but
wait a minute.
It's because of your green screen.
Okay, so that right there. So this right here, he handed them all three of these things And the officer was like, yo, I'm not messing with you. Now, he said, this is what he said. We have been drinking. He said, yeah, we have been drinking, speeding, and had expired tags. And he handed the police officer those documents, and the police officer said, yep, I'm not messing with you.
So, I mean, we know that mostly we're dealing with the commercial venues when they do stop folks like that. They're trying. Mm-hmm. It's commercial in nature that you're going to end up having to shell out something, for fines and whatever. So for them to have, like you said, drinking, speeding, and having a
expired tag,
which some might call an offense. You commit,
I'm not saying that to use these documents to do that. I don't condone drunk driving and speeding and all that, especially speeding while you're drunk driving. I don't condone any of that. However, you see that even when you have violated the law, if the police think you know your rights, they don't want to mess with you.
And then that's the thing. And how important? Okay.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
How important is it to assert one's right as a national in those situations, or is it a good idea?
It ain't important at all. You shouldn't do it at all. Especially you should never call yourself sovereign or the
Well, we don't call ourselves sovereign, but they call us sovereign.
Right. Because there's a kick pushback for that sovereign movement. Even the Moors, they know about that. They teach classes on Moorish sovereignty to the police. The police officers, they have classes on this. So for the sovereign people, they deem them as the Caucasian sovereigns, and then the black sovereigns are the Moors. They think of the Moors or anybody trying to reclaim your Aboriginal heritage. So the best thing, you do want to reclaim your status. Now, again, I don't talk about Moorish status. I'm more about your Aboriginal. I claim about Aboriginal status.
What's the difference? Is there a difference?
Yeah, well, because they're because I mean, it's a rough topic. But the reason is because most people think that America was Morocco. I don't.
You said you broke up a little bit. You said most people think that America was what?
Yeah, most Moors think that they claim.
Oh, I heard what you said, Morocco.
Yeah, they think this is Morocco, and that's where they get their power and sovereignty from. Treaty of Peace and Friendship and all that. I don't subscribe to that. Okay. So, you're Aboriginals. You've been here. This whole land was yours. You're more. The Moor term is a universal term that was used for us, as dark-skinned people. But there was no Moorish empire. You can't go look in history and say that was the Moorish empire where we ran everything all at once. We were different clans of Moors running stuff. And so, but over here in America, you are Aboriginal. See, Aboriginal is a very important term because it doesn't. So there's Native American, and then there's Aboriginal Amarukan. These are two different terms. America was called Amaruka by the Aboriginals, which is land of the feathered serpent, land of the dragon, because that was the title of the enlightened God. So Aboriginal means first from the land, whereas Native American just means from the land. So around the world, Aboriginal status is the number one status in the world. So that's recognized. So claiming that status is called self-identification, meaning I can't tell you who you are. You need to tell me who you are. And if you claim that status, then, I know how to deal with you now. But most people don't understand that you need to claim your status. Status is your standing in law. Literally, that's what it means. And so if you don't tell the government where to place you, they place you in the box. They place you in 50 million box that they want. Why would they place you in the box that you want? If they're the ones doing the deciding, they're gonna place you in the box that benefits them. So you need to go tell the government who you are so they know how to deal with you. And that's reclaiming your Aboriginal status. That's one thing. That's a long-term thing. That type of law is long-term. Police stop law is short-term. So in their rules, in just in the regular law, they've created 50 million loopholes in the law because the rich people in society can't get caught they can't get caught up. So there have to be loopholes in the law for them. And they hire $1,000 an hour lawyers to find those loopholes. You don't have $1,000 an hour you get to pay a lawyer. So you need to know those things yourself. And that's the difference. They're all there. The police have very little power. People don't even know that. Police have very little power. Very little. They don't know the law. They go to school for 6 months. Whereas a cosmetologist got to go to school for a year to 2 years to just get a hair license or beauty license. So they only learn procedure. That's it. And they don't. And most laws they don't know anything. So if you even know just a little law, you got them. You catch them off guard. That's why you need to know your rights. Like the police officer, you see my homie handed him those cards, just those documents, and he was like, I ain't even messing with you. He didn't even think about it, because he knew that if he did anything wrong, he felt that the dude who had the documents, he felt he was prepared to retaliate legally if the police officer messed up. See, now if they think you're prepared to retaliate legally, they'll let that they're more, hey buddy, let's talk about this. Hey. So when they do that type of stuff, but if they think you don't know the laws, it's like, get on the ground, don't move, stop moving, stop resisting, all this and that type of stuff. But when they think you know the law, it's they deal with you with kid gloves. And most people think that you can't sue the police and all that type of stuff. Police never get they never get reprimanded or nothing happens. They lose all the time. When you sue the police, first off, they have bonds, something called police insurance. They have bonds or police insurance, something that ensures they don't violate your constitutional rights. So when they violate your constitutional rights, no matter what it is, every single time they violate your rights, you can place a claim on that bond. This is what you probably can't see this right here, but oops.
What is a surety bond?
What is a surety? What is a surety bond? So this is the book that we sell at Know Your Rights Foundation. This teaches you where all the bonds are in your states, and so their oath of office is tied, or their bond is tied to their oath of office, meaning to their oath to the Constitution. That's why the law is called oaths and bonds. So when you go and when they violate the Constitution, your constitutional rights, they lose the bond because they both are tied together. Because the reason they have to get the bond is so that they don't do any damage. That the city requires them, or the state requires them to get the bond, so they don't do any damage to the city. It does, all that liability doesn't come back on the city. And so violating, and because they're obligated to protect your constitutional rights, they're not obligated to save you. Does everybody want? The police are not legally obligated to protect you at all. They can sit there and watch you get shot up 100 times and not do anything, and nothing won't happen to them. This is Supreme Court ruling. The police have no obligation to protect your life. I want y'all to understand that. Because you need them. They're not there for that. They're there to protect your constitutional rights. They do have them. They are obligated to protect your constitutional rights. Absolutely. So that's what you get them on. And so that's basically what we teach. We're trying to teach the kids. Just like that little 17-year-old, we want all the children in the street smacking the popo. If they violate your rights, we don't just want you out there messing with them. But once that starts to happen, the whole mission is my mission. The campaign is 1 million Johnny Cochrans, and people don't, probably a lot of younger people don't know who Johnny Cochran was, but Johnny Cochran was the smartest lawyer in American history, and this is them saying it. This is the Caucasian lawyers, the top Caucasian lawyers in America. They say, "Oh, Johnny Cochran was the smartest dude we ever knew," and he was a melanated brother. And the reason he was the smartest because he was a master of criminal law. I just want to get this straight. Most lawyers in America, only 4% of them are melanated, and of those 4% lawyers, Most of them are entertainment lawyers, tax lawyers, corporate law, that type of stuff. None of them deal with criminal law because nobody gonna hire a melanated criminal lawyer. Most people with money anyway are not gonna hire the melanated criminal lawyer to get them out of jail. You're gonna go to, you know who you're gonna go to.
Right.
The dude Kanye West and Kyrie was talking about. Most people go to them people. So you're left out. If you don't understand the fundamental rules of how the system is put together, if you don't master those, how the hell do you expect to gain any advantage in this system? You would never play Monopoly without knowing the rules to Monopoly. And if you did, you losing your money within the first few rolls. Somebody gonna take your money. So that's what we on right now. And this is not like, something I've spent my whole life. Oh, I got to teach everybody their rights. But when I look at how many people getting beat down in the street, just smashed up because just for simple stuff, not knowing to tell the police. Like, just to give you an example, the police, when you get pulled over, police can't reach in your car. Did y'all know that? It's against the law for the police to put their hand in your car. It's called breaking the plane. If they put their hand, even their finger, if their finger crosses over your window seal in your door, that's a Fourth Amendment violation. It's called an unlawful search or seizure, and you can sue them for that. But most people don't know. They'll reach inside your car, they'll unbuckle, they'll take your buckle off for you, they'll open your door for you and pull you out of the car. When they pull you out of the car, they pat you down.
They windows and pull you through the
yeah.
glass.
You don't even have to roll your window down at a traffic stop. Most of y'all don't even know that. It says, the law says you have to present your identification. It doesn't say you have to hand it over. You have to keep your window rolled up. You can put it on the window and show it. The reason they want you to roll your window down is so they can smell alcohol or weed coming from the cockpit. So don't give them the reason. That's when they can always say, hey, I smell, you smell I smell some weed coming from the car there, some marijuana, and they can always use that, especially for melanated people. They'll 70% of the time, if they want to get you, they'll use that for melanated people. They'll say, oh, I smell some weed, I smell some marijuana coming from the car. But they can't smell it if your window's up. And then if they want you to get out of the car, they can tell you to get out of the car. That's a legal thing. But then you get out of the car with your window up fast, you close the door and you lock the door, so they can't get in the car. See, these are small little things that we don't know nothing about that will prevent you that'll prevent years and years of heartache and ass whooping. Just little stuff like that. So if we can teach people that type of stuff and get the children, that's really what I want to see, the children smashing on the police, smashing back on these police officers, knowing their rights. So that's why we're doing this, y'all.
Well, yeah, and you've got like flashcards and
oh
different...
we got flashcards. We got flashcards.
Yeah.
There we go. So these are flashcards. We made these for the children, actually, because we know children ain't got their attention span is 2 seconds, especially today in this world. So we got flashcard, police stop flashcards, decks 1 and 2, or 1 and 2 right here. And then this is law and government. We got law and government flashcards right here. So everything you need to know about how this system is working, so that your rights can stop being violated. And it's a big thing, everybody. They know this stuff is working because now they're starting to try to learn the law better, because they know people are out here learning their rights. So now, because what's happening is when they're violating people's rights, people are suing the hell out of the cops now. This is starting to be a real thing. People are suing the hell out of the police stations. So now the police stations have to come and tell the police officers, look, y'all better start learning your job better and stop violating people's rights. So this is working, y'all. The more and more of us, though, that start doing it, that'll start, it'll start happening more.
I'm running the order, your link underneath, but my question is, does one have to order the melanin research book to get? I know before you ordered that and then you got the police stop material, but can they go straight to Know Your Rights Foundation and order what it is specifically that they're looking for, or signing up for the classes? Or
Well, yeah, if you want the whole police stop package, you want the whole police stop law package, yeah, you can order the Great Book of Melanin Research. You can order this right here. This is the research they've been doing on your melanin for 118 years now. So you order the hard copy, that's at realnagas.com. You go to there, and I'll give you the whole police stop law package for free. If you just want any parts of the law package, that's the Know Your Rights manual, the bond book, or any of the flashcards or the constitutional rights cards, you can just go to knowyourrightsfoundation.org. Or if you want to volunteer, we're teaching people the law for free. See, that's what we're doing. That's the main thing we're doing at Know Your Rights Foundation. We teach you the law for free because there's nobody out here doing that. So basically, we've created a community law school, and so all you have to do is sign up, and we'll teach you the law. We got close to 100 people in there learning the law, smashing, and it's fun. Obviously, it's gonna be fun if I'm in there. I'm not no. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I clown all the time, so obviously, it's not boring. So, but people are learning the rights. They're loving it. They're learning how interesting it is to learn your rights and the power that it gives you. It's so empowering to know your rights. I'm telling you, y'all have no idea. Y'all walk out here, y'all see a police officer. I promise you, most of y'all, 99% of y'all are scared as shit when y'all see a police officer. I know you are. And if you're more and you say you think you got your Moorish rights and all that, even then, you still are a little apprehensive to want to deal with the popo. But I'm telling you, when you know exactly what the police can do and what you can do and what they can't do, it's a completely different game.
Game changer, huh?
It's not even close. it's not even close. So, again, if you guys want to know your rights, you can volunteer. knowyourrightsfoundation.org. We're teaching people the law for free. So get on over there. Now you have no excuse. Like we've eliminated all the excuses that people have to say, well, if you learn the law, they just gonna change it anyway. They ain't gonna never. Well, you learn whatever they changed it to, you learn that. Learning doesn't stop. So it's an ongoing thing. But right now, you just need to know what you need to know to stop them from getting your ass beat. Let me tell you, we were watching a video in police stop class, and this dude, he pulled over into a gas station in the light so that he felt comfortable when they were trying to pull him over. So he got a few police officers following him. This is perfectly legal. If you don't feel comfortable when the police are trying to pull you over, make sure you pull into a well-lit place so that you feel comfortable. Turn on your hazard lights. Call 911 to make sure that the police know that you're not fleeing, and then you can pull over in a nice, well-lit area. So this dude, he did that. I don't know if he called 911, but he turned on his hazards. He pulled into the gas station, and boy, they pulled him out. They beat the crap. They mangled this brother. He was so calm. And the report was, basically he won. He sued him. He sued him and won. But the report, they said, they did, because he said, yeah, they grabbed me, they jacked me out of my car, and they beat me down. And the report they said was, we escorted him out of the car and we gently escorted him to the ground. They said we gently escorted him to the ground. What? They beat the crap out of this dude. It was like 6-7 cops jumping on him, beating the crap out of him. They said we gently escorted him to the ground. So
did you see that recent was it like an hour and 40-minute or so police chase that was on it was on the news? They were followed. This guy stole maybe a car, 2 vans. They in California. They followed him for over an hour. I watched the thing live, and then finally, he even jumped out of one of the vans or something and ran into somebody's house, and he got the keys from the people and stole their brand new work truck. And you see all of this stuff. The police are letting the policy force, they're letting all of this happen, and then we're watching it from a helicopter camera crew, and I'm thinking if that had been, he wasn't melanated, but he was brown. It looked like he may have been maybe Mexican or something, but he definitely wasn't melanated where you could tell that he was. You'd have to get him out. This went on for over an hour. I mean, high speed, low. It was crazy. He I don't know how many cars he hit, and people stuck the door up. When they finally, he pulls over. Maybe he heard that into a gas station area, and I think they're frustrated. They've been chasing him for an hour and 30 minutes. They shoot, and then they have all this time. Nobody gets out of the van, and eventually, I'm thinking that they killed him. They all go to get ready to shoot some more, and he's over on the passenger side, and they take him out gently.
Sure.
That they have chased him through I don't know how many counties and how many cars he didn't hit, and people's cars and vans that he stole. And I was thinking if it was somebody else in that instance, like one of us, it definitely wouldn't have went that far. It would have been.
Well, let me tell you. We again in police stop law class, we showed a video, and this is why y'all need to learn your rights, because the law is not the same for y'all. We showed a video of these two neighbors fighting. They had an argument. This one guy, he called the police on his neighbor, this lady. She was going crazy. Now, these two Caucasian people, right? So he called the police on his neighbor. His neighbor was tripping out. The police officer gets there, and now he's breaking them up. He wants to talk to him. The girl is going crazy. Blonde chick with tattoos, probably just down south girl. And so he takes her and he locks her up. He puts her in the car, in handcuffs in the car. So somehow she was able to get out of the handcuffs, and there was an AR-15 that the police officer had in the car. She got the AR-15. So it was the police officer talking, the neighbor talking, and two neighbors. There was a police officer and two neighbors talking. So she got loose in the car, got the AR-15, and then started shooting from the police car, started shooting at the officer and the neighbors. She hit the officer. She nicked him in the ear. She shot the neighbor in the shoulder. Do you know it took them about an hour and a half to get her out of the car? They didn't shoot that car at all. They escorted her gently out of that car without touching her.
Wow.
Without touching her. They talked her out of the car for an hour and a half, and she shot a police officer. So, do you understand? Y'all don't have it the same. If a brother is doing that, he dead. That whole police officer, that whole police car is getting shot up. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Wow, y'all. Listen, yeah, it's important that we do take advantage of any kind of knowledge that's make available itself. What days and times are the classes?
Every Sunday. I do every Sunday at 10 a.m. West Coast time.
West Coast time.
Yeah, you have to sign up to the Patreon. It's only for Patreon, or if you're a volunteer. It's only for Patreon members on my Real Nagas, patreon.com/Real Nagas, or if you volunteer for the Know Your Rights Foundation, can you come to the class?
I'm a little laughing because when you said that, I think I probably took never mind. I was thinking if I said you and told you that this was Central Time. Did I say Central Time?
Yeah, yeah.
I just had a total blackout in the last 2 days. But yes, this is important. So if you want to volunteer, you contact the Know Your Rights Foundation. And volunteer consists of doing what? What does a volunteer do?
Volunteering right now is you learning the law.
Oh, so you volunteer to learn.
Yeah, you volunteering to learn. You're not doing nothing right now.
Oh, y'all can't beat that.
But you don't need to do anything but bring yourself, and we'll teach you the law. We'll teach you everything you need to know about the law. But you do need to be motivated. And then after you learn the law, we ask that you go back out and pay it forward to your community. So that's
fair. That's fair. That is fair. It makes sense. So wherever you start, though, do you already have anything pre-recorded where somebody can start at square one, or you kind of?
We have online classes. We have two. Yeah, we have a beginning class. We have intermediate. So basically, when you finish, you'll get a certification for basic police stop law. But so you'll go. We have live classes, and then we have online classes. and you'll go through those. So we have 3 live classes a week. One with me, and then two other students, and then we have online class, 2 other teachers, and then we have the online class. So we're thorough. You're gonna learn everything you need to learn about the law. And classes get heated because everybody want to show that they know more than everybody else. It feels good learning the law. Y'all don't understand. Y'all think this shit is white people, and it's not. You invented the law, literally. The mundane law the worldly law that they run on now, you invented it. It goes all the way back to ancient Sumeria. That's where they got these laws from. The ancient Sumerian codes and the code of Hammurabi and all the rest of those. That's where all these laws come from. That's why they're called codes. That's literally why they called codes. That goes back to you. You called them codes. So regain your information, regain that knowledge, because they're using it to control you, and they know that your apathy for the law keeps them in control. Well, shit, they too lazy to learn the law. Ain't nobody gonna go pick up no law book, and they know that. They know your ass is lazy. Most of y'all is gonna be lazy, and then not want to do it and do shortcuts. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Moorish sovereignty stuff is usually a shortcut. They think it's more of a shortcut to get out of the system, but it's not. They think, if I get my Aboriginal status back, then they can't deal with me. But learning Aboriginal or status law, it takes way longer. So that's why I teach both of those. But I teach one individually. The status law is on my Patreon. You have to, excuse me. I have the classes on Patreon, and you just take your time and you learn that, because status law ultimately is what you want to get into. So I'll give you an example. Knowing this law and then applying status law to it. So, like, say if you got land, so most melanated people want to get their land back, reparations, right? Reparations. We want reparations. That's the whole thing. Give us our money. And you know what? It's against the law for them to give you reparations. They can't give you reparations. It's unconstitutional. They can't give you reparations, but they won't tell you that. Why? Because you'll rip this whole shit down if they told you that it's unconstitutional. Plus, the reparations that they give you is going to have to come from Caucasian people's taxes. Caucasian people is not going to give you their money because you feel that their ancestors, violated your ancestors' rights or whatever the hell. They're not giving you that. That's just not going to happen. They'll let you march in the street all goddamn day and talk about it. They'll let you do all of that. The 3,000, 40,000. Y'all can go march all day. Y'all can talk about it if that alleviate, if that cools your fiddle, but they're not going to give you anything. So Aboriginal, the true way or the easiest way to do that, land is free. I mean, not free, but it's easy. It's cheap. Like, so you can go to governmentauction.com. You can buy land for $100. You can buy land for $100, then apply your Aboriginal status to the land, and then they can't take it away. That's when your Aboriginal status is the most important thing, because you understand your ancestors lost the land fair and square. That's universal law. If we were supposed to still have the land, we'd have it. So universal law, it was lost for a reason. So now you're trying to come back and get something that your ancestors lost, but they lost it for a purpose, for a reason in the universe. Whatever happens in the universe is not an accident. So if your ancestors lost it, then that means you need to figure out new ways to get it back. So right now, like I said, land is cheap. There's governmentauction.com. They do 2 land auctions a week. You can go buy land. I lost out on 47 acres of land for $3,500. I bid $2,500. The dude beat me with $3,500, and it was 47 acres of land. Do y'all see? 47 acres of land a dude got for $3,500. You can do that. This is what y'all need to start doing anyway, because the plan for 2030 is world government. They're trying to lock up. They're trying to create this one world government. So they're burning up all the farms and food processing places. So right now, y'all want to go back to the government and give us our land back, give us our rights to do this and that. When literally 4 or 5 of y'all can get together, piece together some money and go buy land right now in 2 seconds and for nothing. Like, it's literally the minimum bid is $100 for land on government auction. So find new ways to do what you need to do. Find it again, work smarter, not harder. Y'all want to go back against the government. And you do have a right to do that, but you're not going to get any of your land back unless you come back in your right status. The definition of reparations is to be restored to one's land. That's where repatriation comes from. It comes from repair, which means to return to one's own land. So you can't even get your land back unless you come back in your correct status. They're not going to give it to you as a Moor. I promise you that. You got to come back as an Aboriginal. That's in their own law. If you come back in your Aboriginal status, then they're obligated to help you. But unless you do that, unless you know that, and you reclaim that, they ain't gonna do anything for you. But again, to me, that's the harder way. That's the harder way to do shit. This law you can learn real easy. Dealing with the popo and the government, that's the easier law. That's what you want to deal with now, because then now that gives you some room to operate and then learn your status law. If you learn how to deal with them right off the bat and keep them off your ass, then you can take the time that you need and breathe to learn your status law. But a lot of people feel like they need to learn that now because the system is on their ass. Oh shit, I need to get out of this system. I need to learn how to do what I need to do. Oh snap. And so you all on the status and Aboriginal and more stuff, when again, the easier stuff is just to learn the rules that they put to the game. They post it online. It's not hard to find it. You can literally Google it right there on your phone. So, work smarter, not harder.
Well. So yeah, I know that. I'm gonna check in the chat. I know there's like zillions of probably comments and so forth. But somebody said buying back what is already ours. Sorry, but I'll let Big Mama deal with this one.
You go right ahead. You go right ahead. Whatever's yours. You claim it while you in the grave. You claim it when you have nothing in the grave. you go ahead and die when it was zero.
Well, a lot are saying that. Why do we have to buy back what's ours? And but the other alternative is
it's not yours. Do you have it in your hands?
And so you're not. You contend that the land was lost by. It could have been by nefarious means, but whatever it got lost. Is that what you're saying?
All of it wasn't lost by nefarious means. Your ancestors made deals and turned the law over, like the Cherokee. The Cherokee, the leaders of the Cherokee was two guys. They signed their land over. They got killed for it. The Aboriginals killed them because they signed the land over, but they did it. They didn't. The government didn't make them to sign. They made a deal with them to. They paid them. They paid them to sign the land over. They basically corrupt these. You got to take advantage. You got to take responsibility for being corrupt. Some of your people was corrupt in the day, and they sold your other people out. That's how a lot of that went down. They violated a lot of treaties for sure, and that's why you can go back and get remedy for those violated treaties. They've already admitted that in House Congressional Resolution 333. They said, "Yep, sorry, we broke a lot of treaties. We had like 400 treaties with the Native Americans that we need to honor. Yep, we acknowledge that. You need to come and tell us who you are." It's called self-identification and self-determination. So if you come and tell us who you are and what you want to do, we're obligated to help you do that. But unless you come back in your proper status, they don't have to help you at all. That's what law is about. Now, again, you can go and try to do that. And then, again, learning your status is the proper way you should do that. Everybody should learn their status. Everybody should reclaim your Aboriginal status because it's the highest status in the land for sure. But right now, the quickest thing to do is learn how to keep them off your ass. And then to get your land back, you say, why should I buy land that's already mine? Because you can have land tomorrow instead of trying to wait 20 years, which they never gonna give you your land back. So you can die with your principles, or you can live with land. Which one do you want? you can die principled with nothing, or you can live with land right now, and we can start piecing together. We can start piecing together because again, it's stuff going on in the world right now. Y'all can sit back and be trying to rest on your principles while all of this shit goes to shit, and then you be looking, oh snap, we ain't got nothing? No, because you was sitting around trying to beg the damn government to give you your land back the whole goddamn time. And reparations, when you could have got together and pooled your resources and done it for yourself.
I know what the principle of it was mine first, or at least was my ancestral my inheritance that was lost. I'm going to say lost, which by whatever means, and trying to get it back. Some, like, for instance, somebody called me recently and said, when they wanted to, the issue that they were dealing with the CDL, they brought up the motu proprio with me. And I was like, well, what about the motu proprio? I said, what about it? I said, it's not, everything's supposed to be done with. I said, well, maybe it is in the background, but in the foreground, it's still, alive and kicking our butts. So if you, like, same thing you're saying, if you want to get back behind the wheel of your vehicle, that truck, and get that CDL, then you're gonna have to deal with them.
Yeah.
And then go back if you can and fix it under, non pro tonk. Now he's like, what is it? That's now for then.
Right.
But first, right now, you want somebody to tell you how to go and fight them on the basis of you being Moorish, that you don't have to pay the tickets that you got that now took away your right to, your livelihood. And right. I mean, I'm not, and I'm, my brothers and sisters, I'm not a sellout. I'm just a realist. When I look at stuff realistic, like you said, you can take the 20-year route of trying to fight, or even a lifetime of try. For some have been fighting this battle for as long as others have been on the earth, right? And still have not gotten the justice and the result that they have been looking for. Or, like you said, if we band together and just buy it, and then none pro-tunk that, if that's the case. We got it now. If we have to go back, once we get, our government structures and things we need, and get whatever it is we need to get back for having to buy that. But at least get it. At least get it.
Get possession of it is the most important thing.
Land is tangible. Gold and silver is tangible. Different things that we, there's different things that are, precious metals, period. But you need it. You need it in your hand, or you need it in your possession. And then you need to be able to be, I believe, in a situation where we can come together and talk about the things that we need to do in a private setting. That's hence why I, put that banner up about that new platform for webinars that I definitely want to get started, because we do too much bickering publicly.
Right.
And instead of strategizing in the private and then coming out as a united front to make some stuff happen, having these classes that you have, and learning the law, and maybe your perspective changes once you learn the things that you don't know.
Oh, it will change. That's not even a doubt. But see, I'm a martial artist, so I believe in ending the fight quickly. Most people who are in fights for a long time, most of those people really don't know how to fight. Because any martial artist knows that you don't want to be in a fight for a long time. You want to find the ending point. You want to find the weak point on the body and strike there. And so, again, you're running around here fighting with this government, doing this and all this and that, when the government, his throat is wide open. you can pop him in his throat. He has all these wide open spots on their body that you can tag him in. And again, you don't try unity. Unity is one of those weaknesses in the government. They know you ain't gonna get together. They know you're gonna depend on them, or you're gonna be pissed at them and try to come at them to give you something, instead of getting together with yourselves and creating something on your own. Again, so you don't have to ask anybody to buy land. Sorry, you don't have to ask anybody to buy land, but you do have to ask them to give you your land back. So end the fight quickly. Go get some land, apply that land, then take that land, put it under your Aboriginal status. Then that's called an Allodial title. An Allodial title, they can't take the land from you after that. Once you place it in an Aboriginal trust, then it's yours and your family's for the rest of their lives now. So you have to redo stuff. You lost it. You didn't have the knowledge back then because you dealt with a new colonizer who outfoxed your people, because the people were too damn trusting or whatever it was. Now you have to learn how to redo that.
So here's the question. A lot of folks are declaring nationality and doing paperwork for Moorish nationality. How does one declare their Aboriginal status?
Well, that's
is that? I mean, I'm not asking. No, let me rephrase it. I'm not asking you to give a step by step. Is there a process, is what I want to say, that you know of, or a place of somewhere people, they go, there's enforced constitution, there's different other places where you get your whatever paperwork you do. No.
So like I said, you guys can look up House Congressional Resolution 333. It's really important. That's the government. They came and they said, we're sorry, Native Americans. We got our government from you guys. We modeled the Constitution off the Native Americans. We had all these treaties with the Native Americans, like 377, I think they said in the thing. 377 treaties that we didn't honor. So all these different things, they admitted. This is an admission that they owe the Native Americans of this land. And so they said, we're now, because we've admitted we should have done this in the first place, now we're obligated to help you do whatever you want. We're obligated to help you in your status. We're obligated to help you set up your own governments. They're obligated to do all of this. It's in House Congressional Resolution 333. House Congressional Resolution 333.
Now, while you're saying that, is there a difference between what they're calling Native Americans and Aboriginals? Because
no, they mean the same thing. They're talking about the same thing. You want to use Aboriginal because now Native American are your descendants. The Native Americans now are your descendants. The lighter people who are called Native Americans. Those are your descendants.
So, House Congressional Resolution 333.
333. And then also there's the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. And so every country adopted that. And so did America. So America has the American Resolution, or what is it? The American Resolution of Rights of Indigenous People. Something
rights
like that. Rights of Indigenous People. So they basically adopted the UN.
The international one, and then there's America.
Right, there's an America. Most countries have had to adopt. If you're a part of the UN, you had to adopt. You adopted that because it was a UN resolution. So anybody a part of the UN, their countries had to adopt that. So in that, it states that self-identification is the top thing. What does that mean? I mean, who are you? Tell me. It literally means tell me who you are, and I will deal with you from that level. You need to tell me who you are. If you don't, though, then I have to deal with you. You leave it in my mind to figure out who you are, and then if you leave it in my mind, it's going, it's going to be whatever I say it is. So that's how you claim your status back. You just have to say it. Now, there's the legal paperwork to go ahead and do it, but the reclaiming of your status is just you alerting the government that you are reclaiming your status. Like most people don't know, since 1960, you can claim whatever you want on like the census. So where it goes there, you're white, black, or African American now, white, African American, Native American, all these different things. You can claim whatever you want. They said that. Like, no, they don't tell you what to claim. Any one of you melanated people could have been claiming white on the status on the census since 1960, and rearranged this whole how money is distributed throughout the government, because they look at the status and they look at the census and they say, oh, all African Americans live in this, and this is how they start redlining. Because all of y'all fill out the census in this one area, they can look at this. They can look at the census, like, oh, all you African Americans live here. All right, well, we're gonna paint a line around that, and then you guys get minimal resources. You get minimal funding. All of that type of stuff. But what would the map look like if a lot of melanated people were picking white on the census? They would have no idea where the melanated people were, and they would have no idea because everybody's picking white. So, your status or who you are identified as in the government is totally up to you. They don't tell you that openly, but in law they tell you that.
But I heard that there are some that come here from other countries, melanated, we would consider, but they're told to select the status of white.
Well, they're told. So that's the other thing. The term white is a political is a social status term, right?
Absolutely. So it's not the color of the skin.
No, it's a legal status, and so like there's something called the MENA groups, the Middle Eastern Middle Eastern North Africa. That's in America. So anybody who comes to America from Middle East or North Africa are classified as white. So that's why when you look at there's so many white people in America, that doesn't mean they're pale. That just means they're classified as white. And so anybody, if you speak Muslim, if you speak Arabic, if you're a Muslim, you come over here, they classify you as white. And that's because they know that most immigrants are super hard working, and they're gonna come over here and they're not gonna bullshit. They're not gonna be in gangs and sit around on their laurels and rest their asses. They're gonna get in the game and create something in society. That looks better if that person who does that is classified as white than black. So that bolsters the white group. So that's when you look at the statistics and they say, well, white people own 90-something% of the wealth and all this and that. No, they don't. The classified white, but not the pale skin white. And so, this is the game they'll play with you because they know you don't go and look and read what it actually means. In your mind, white means pale. And so you apply that to anybody who's deemed as white, who's termed as white. But again, your status is a tricky thing in law. It's dependent on who you say you are, and then the government literally deals with you like that. Like there's a congressman named Rashida Tlaib, and she got in an argument with the census director in Congress. This is online. You can go YouTube it. And she was mad because they didn't want to be classified as white. So again, because she's Rashida Tlaib, immigrants who come over who are Muslim, they're classified as white. And so she was like, we don't want that. We want our own status on the census. And then so the Census Bureau dude, he said the census director, because the reason she wants that is because even though they're classified as white, you can see that they're not white and they still get treated messed up in society, and they don't get none of the benefits and all the backlash and all the bullshit. So she said, so she told the director of the census that, and he said, well, look, we don't tell you on the census what to put down. You can put down whatever you want. That's what he told her. He said, you can put down whatever you want, white, black, whatever. We don't tell you that. And so then she's like, well, nobody knows that. She's like, nobody knows that. So now that you just said that, the census just came out, it's going to take a whole another 10 years now to get that information out to people, and they can change their status. So again, the director of the Census Bureau said in Congress, we don't tell you what to put on the census there. You can call yourself whatever the hell you want. So
yeah, they should just have a line where people can just write in what they want.
Well, you can put your own box too. When they give you those things, and if what you want to put on there is not on there, put your own box. Tell them what it is. That's a contract. You can do that. You can alter the contract if you don't agree with it, and then it's in their box. So.
Well, yeah, I know this is a hot topic. I don't know if you're looking at the comments, but
I don't read comments.
Yeah.
I don't read the comments.
Yeah. But the fact, I know everybody is not going to agree with certain things, especially when you talk about, buying back the land, or, we gave it away and different things, or, your status is Aboriginal. Although some of it we gave away, not all of it, but not all of it. Okay, yeah, but when you're saying if we purchase the land as Aboriginals and put it in an allodial status, then that becomes our like aired property that can be
if you get property right now today and you have your status changed, you could put that land in an Aboriginal trust that would lock the land up away from the government ever taking it back. Period. Mm-hmm. So again, you can go argue with the government and beg them to give you land back, which they're not going to do it because it's unconstitutional and you are in their system. So I don't know how you think you're going to cry and beg and plead and scratch on their feet and they're going to all eventually give you. It's not going to happen. Those Caucasian people who they have to take the money out of their taxes are not going to give you niggas money for reparations. It's not going to happen. That's a good fantasy, but they're not going to give you money. So again, go get your land back. There was the reparations rally that just happened a few weeks ago, and there was like 3,000 or some people there.
Is that all?
Huh?
How about is that all?
I mean, that was the number. That's what I heard. It was like a little over 3,000 people. Huh?
Yeah. No, I said I guess it's a pretty good show of
right. Yeah, it's not that bad. But if they're all screaming, we want our land back, we want reparations and all this and that. If each one of those people took $20, each one of those people took $20. It costs more than $20 for them to get to the rally. I promise you, it probably costs more than that to come to the rally. If all those people took $20 and put it in the pot to buy land, that would be $60,000. Just cut it off at $3,000. Let's say if those 3,000 people put $20 in the pot, that's $60,000. You know how much land you can go get for $60,000 right now? And then farm. Then create your farms. Put that land in an Aboriginal trust. Then you can go get more land and put that land in an Aboriginal trust. Just like the federal government did. The federal government, when they started, they only had a 10 square mile radius. And they went and started to acquire land and then put their seal around the land. So basically the Constitution gives them a certain jurisdiction. So they started to add their jurisdiction to the land that they started to acquire. And so if they started piling up land and each piece of land that they acquired, they can apply their jurisdiction to. Now you see how they got all this damn land. But you, as an Aboriginal, you can do the same thing. You can go get land, boom, put that land in an Aboriginal trust, go get another piece of land, put that in the Aboriginal trust, go get that, and buy land that's close to each other. So then you start to pile, and then the land starts to grow. Don't get pieces that are so far away from each other. Always try to buy land that's near each other. And then that's how your land grows. You put it in the Aboriginal trust, and before you know it, you have all this land back that you didn't have to go beg the government for, because you got it back. You got it with $500 or wherever they charge.
Well, it sounds good if we could only come together. You know what I mean? That be as I say, that be the major stumbling block I see for us, because we would wonder who's going to manage it, whose name is going to be done.
That's organization. That's organization.
I realize that. But even when you, in terms of thinking, in terms of the land period, if we say we want our land back, most of us, there are some that this doesn't apply to, but in most cases, I would say we cannot go back and trace what piece of parcel or parcels of land our particular ancestry had control of. Unless you're one of those rare families that can at least say, we've had this land for 400 years or 300 years. Right. Most of us don't even know where everybody came from to even be able to make a claim. And so conversely, several could be trying to make a claim on the very same thing, because land is under my feet right here. You know what I'm saying? If everybody, say in my neighborhood, was melanated and said, "Whoa, this is." Well, I'm taking this section, and I'm sorry, Dr. G, but it includes your house. It's you see what I'm saying? So there is no real logical way besides just, as you said, beginning to acquire and having it designated for our people.
Right.
Even they have. I used to be the director of housing here, and there were. I'm trying to remember now. My brain's off kilter. But there are certain sections of this town where they had written in the land deeds that none of us could buy homes in that area. Well, I'm serious. I mean, it was in the land deeds. That's and crazy. So we of course, some folks have moved in some of those areas irregardless, but there's still some areas that are very, very segregated. We're not there, and it's because they wrote it down on in the deed of for the land that only or no, not only that we couldn't live there.
Right. And that's the laws, and that's why you need to learn the law. Go ahead, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was saying, so we start acquiring land, and we put in our deeds or whatever what it is, and our allodial deeds, what titles, what it is, or who can live there.
That's who right.
Can build there, who can manufacture there.
Yes. Yes. When you man, they have gotten y'all so indoctrinated into this reparation thing, and to me, I think that's a psyop. Honestly, I think reparations is a psyop. The reparations movement, because it gets you to expel all of your energy into a campaign that will never pay you back. But you believe that you're doing something, so you don't look to get anything else done because you believe this is it. And as long as they allow you to y'all to march and get on stage, and gather together and say reparations, and and the Congress people will act like, oh yeah, I'm about reparations. I believe that you guys should be paid for what happened to the slaves and whoop whoop. And they all this rhetoric when all of them know that reparations is illegal. It's unconstitutional. They've already the Supreme Court has already ruled it unconstitutional, and it's unconstitutional. I had to find the case, but it's unconstitutional as far as the 14th Amendment. So the 14th Amendment, it's called, it's under the discrimination. It's under the equal protection. It's under the the discriminatory clause. And
how are they able to give Japan and stuff like that? Those of Japanese descendancy were able to get, paid, if you will, for whatever, and even
because they're not Americans, they're Japanese, and then also they're connected to an external nation. You are an American under American law. You are an American citizen. Most of y'all are American citizens. So as that, the American government, they said they ruled that they can't. So first of all, in the Constitution, it's the equal protection thing. They can't favor one race of people over another. But then it's also a rule that it's unconstitutional that they can that in the ruling, and that was actually in like the 60s or 70s. And I forget the name of the case, but in the 60s or 70s, they ruled the same thing. It was a ruling based off the 14th Amendment that they can't favor one race over anher and create rules for one special for one people over another.
But they can't discriminate. But they can't discriminate.
They can't discriminate. Oh.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Like in California, there's the reparations thing going on in California. So Gavin Newsom signed a bill to create a committee to research slavery and see how reparations can begin in California, right? So see how the wording goes. I'm gonna create a bill so that you can create a committee to begin researching slavery. So then maybe in the future we can think about almost giving you reparations. It's bullshit. It's all bullcrap. But then the lady who the melanated sister who instituted the whole thing, or one of them, she went on, like she was on the news channel, and she said that because now they had to restrict it to people who had ancestors who were slaves, but after 1900 who had slaves, and you can go back to 1900 or something like that, but not beyond that. Something it's some type of crazy rule that you can't go beyond the year 1900, and your family has to be this specific. Yet they have to be in this specific category and all that. And they asked her why did they have to do all of that, and she said because actual reparations are unconstitutional. she said that right on the news thing. And so I've been telling everybody that for the longest time. But again, they'll let you think it is. And so that you will keep wasting your energy trying to get something back that they ain't never gonna give y'all. But they'll give $100 million to Ukraine. Y'all see, they gave $100 million, $100 billion to Ukraine, but tell you that they ain't got no money for you. Again, it's a game. So stop waiting and stop asking them for something. You don't need to ask them and beg them for nothing. Stop. You God. All of you are gods. Everything that you need is within you. You don't need to be asking them for shit. Get with your God brother or sister next to him and say, let's figure this shit out. How do we create our own universe again without their help? And then we'll lock it up ourselves. You can do that. I don't understand why y'all think y'all got to be going back to these motherfuckers who colonized you and think they're going to give you something. They colonize every damn thing. You think they're going to give you that shit back? Y'all crazy.
But, they've done the same thing all over the world. I was telling someone, I said, we have been so deluded that over the, before we started becoming enlightened, looking at what was happening in what we call foreign nations, that the United States would then set up a base or here and there and everything. And it's like, oh my gosh, we used to look at them as being colonized, not realizing that all along we too have been colonized. We know now, but we didn't know. We thought we were free. We thought we were the favored nation. And even though we knew us, last when I say us melanated folks, we knew that we weren't treated the same in this, land of flowing with milk and honey. But we still felt that we were doing better than them. And the truth of the matter is we're not. We weren't, we never were. We were just more grandly deluded and hoodwinked about our own circumstance, which makes it such a hard sell to get, so everybody's looking for the truth. You went on a journey for the truth. I went on a journey for the truth, when I had my awakening. And so we're on these varying paths, and a lot of them, there's a lot of intersection going on, because we have met here. This is an intersection. Right. Everybody here that's listening and that will listen to this, we are intersecting, but we still are on our own paths. And we really, at the core of it all, we just want truth. We want what's ours. We want truth. And I don't know that we know fully, though, what is ours. When I say that we don't know what is ours, we know what we've been told. We know what, but do you know in your heart, what does it take to make your life, your particular circumstances, your family, your circle of influence, put in an ideal situation? What would be ideal? I mean, a lot of folks, I don't think, would be out here fighting this fight if they had what they felt like was an ideal living, situation. If everything was hunky dory with them, it'd be like I feel sorry for them, but I'm happy for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the struggle of life is going to breed that. But again, the struggle is created on purpose. All of this is distraction. You guys, they understand that you are God. Everyone is God. Everybody's God. But how do I keep you guys from understanding and knowing that you're God? I keep you distracted. I keep you distracted with survival, with being able to survive in life. I keep you distracted with racism, with anger, with with football or sports or whatever the hell it is. Fear. Yep. Oh, thank you. Fear. That's the biggest one, actually. Yes, I keep you distracted. That's the biggest one. So if I can keep you guys distracted, I can keep you out of your God power. if I can do all of these things and then make you think that I am the end all be all of authority in the land, then you will never look to yourself to free yourself. You will always look to me thinking that I have the key to your cell, when the key to your cell is in here. And so, and that's also your prison. So again, I keep going back. I tell you, as a martial artist, you want to end the fight quick. That's how I think. I'm a fighter. I've been fighting since I was 10 years old. And so you don't want to be in a long fight. The longer the fight lasts, the more you can get your ass beat. The more damage you can sustain. So what's the quickest way? What's the most efficient way to take down your opponent? And so again, all of you're so emotional, and this is our land, and we deserve our land back, and this is give me my land, and all this and that. Yeah, okay, it's your land, but do you have it in your hand right now? Do you understand? Possession is 9/10 of the law. That's 9/10, meaning if you say something is yours, if you ain't got it in your hand, do you know how much you have to prove that it's yours before the law will give it back to you if it ain't in your hand? That's a real thing. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You can be like, hey, Your Honor, that's my car right there that he driving, and he got nice rims on, and he got a nice little whip kit that he put on it, and man, I liked what you did there. But Your Honor, that's my car. And the judge would be like, "What? It looked like it's in his possession. Well, what do you have to show me that it's your car?" And so again, all of you, when that's what you're doing, this land, this your car, and you're trying to show the government, this my car, Your Honor. And he's like, "Well, show it to me." Where I need to see it. Show it to me. And none of y'all can do that. But again, you can go buy land. The government is holding 550 million acres of land for Aboriginal people. You can go on this is on the Bureau of Indian Affairs. You can go to the government office, the government website, Bureau of Indian Affairs, and you start rolling through there, and you start looking up Aboriginal holdings and lands, and you get through there, and then it says that they're holding 550 million acres of land for Aboriginal. That was Aboriginal land. It's just in trust. The government is holding it, and they're reaping money off of it. So there's resources on this land. The government gets to use the resources, some of it, but a lot of the money they're making off the land, they're putting in a bank account, a trust bank account for Aboriginal people. It says it's right there. So you can go look, and then you go down, and then you can see from this account, they put in 22 million from this piece of land. They put in this much millions from this land. And then when you scroll all the way down, and it goes to claimants, where it says, meaning how many people have claimed this money that's in this bank account? 0. They just holding it. It's just sitting there. There's money and land sitting in a trust account for Native American Aboriginal people, but you don't know how to reclaim it. So, but they have to hold it so that they're not liable. See that they have to do this. If they didn't do this, then you can come back and get them if they weren't doing this. But they have to do it. But again, they don't have to give it back to you until you come back in your proper status. They don't got to give you nothing. They ain't got to tell you really. They don't even tell you about it really. It's up to you to know that. But again, to me, that's the hardest part. You can get with your sister or brother or cousin or your mama, baby, uncle, sister, cousin, whoever it is, and piece together a piece of just some little money in the next couple months and go buy you a piece of land. And you got that. And then whatever you want to do with that, you can do with that. Then buy more land and buy more land. I understand you feel that this is your land already. Why you need to buy it back? Well, that's because your ancestors gave it up, or it was taken from them unwittingly. Whatever happened, it happened in the universal law of things, and it was supposed to happen. That's how the universe works. Whatever happens in the universe, it was supposed to happen. The events that led up to that happening was put in motion a long time before that thing happened.
Someone says, if you're buying land and then registering it with the state registry, then it's not your land. I don't think you said to register.
I didn't say register with the state registry.
I think you said put it in a Allodial trust.
In an Aboriginal trust.
Aboriginal trust. Okay, Aboriginal trust. Right. Yeah, I didn't hear you say to register it with the state.
Nobody. Nope. You take your land back, you put it in an Aboriginal trust. Then you can alert them that you've taken the land and put it in an Aboriginal trust. You give them notice. That's different. You tell them what happened, because notice is also 9/10 of the law. Before anything happens, you have to notice somebody so they can know, if how do I know what to do if you don't tell me what's going on? So that's the same thing. You have to know, you notice them, but you tell them, hey, this land is mine. I'm putting it in the Aboriginal trust, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Here's another comment. Isn't that towing the line with naturalization, though, claiming Native American benefits?
I didn't say
you back to Rome, so to speak.
I didn't say Native American benefits. I said they're holding. So again, you as Aboriginals, you had almost 400 treaties. Almost 400 treaties. And so they have to adhere to a lot of those treaties. They acknowledge that they broke those treaties. They said that. Go look again, House Congressional Resolution. They said, oh, you broke those treaties. But we're going to help you. If you want your government, you want school, whatever you want, we're obligated to help you if you ask. But in that trust, they have to hold the lands that they held in trust for those Aboriginals. They have to. They can't just reap the money off of it, because then that's theft. So they're putting as the trustee, they get to keep some of the money, because they're curators of the land, right? So that's law. As a trustee, the trust takes care of the trustee, but they have most of the trust goes to the beneficiary, which would be you, the Aboriginal people. And so all that money sitting in that bank account, all that land sitting in there, and it's just nobody claiming nothing. It's just sitting there.
I think most would be interested in knowing and how, like I said, the process. Are you looking to add, say, on to what you're already teaching for those who become volunteers to learn the police stop law? Would there also be opportunity for them to learn the process of claiming their Aboriginal status? Because right now
we do two. Yeah, no, we don't. In Know Your Rights Foundation, we only deal with police stop law, because that's one side of the game. It's yin and yang. Police stop law and status law are literally yin and yang. So the status law is what you ultimately want to claim. Because I'll give you an example. So, like if you have your status changed, and where they don't have any jurisdiction on you, so in order for the court to deal with you, they have to have jurisdiction, right? So there's three forms of jurisdiction: jurisdiction over the person, jurisdiction over the matter, whatever went on, and jurisdiction over the venue, wherever it takes place. If they don't have all three of those at once, then they don't have jurisdiction. So as an Aboriginal, when you change your status, you take yourself out of jurisdiction. And so when they ask you to appear in court, you send in something called a special appearance, which is to challenge the jurisdiction of the court. Now, when you change your status and you submitted that paperwork to the court and to the government, and they cannot prove that they have jurisdiction over you, they can't answer. The court cannot move unless it has jurisdiction over the person or the matter in the court. So that's how you get back over. That's why your status is ultimately the best thing, because if they did get you for anything, then you can just challenge. They don't have jurisdiction over you from the jump, no matter whatever you did, unless it's a common law crime. I should say that common law, still you can be prosecuted for, meaning damage to property, persons, or or something like that. But other than that, if they can't prove that you did a common law crime, which is there's an actual physical damage, body, person, an injured party. If they can't prove that, they have no jurisdiction. So that's how the law is so damn it's so powerful when you know what you're doing. You guys don't even have to go to court. I know most of y'all probably don't even know that, but most of you don't even have to show up to court. That's not a thing. You can submit paperwork to go to court, but they tell you because they want you to deliver yourself into their jurisdiction, your physical body. But you don't have to go to court. Just like if you had a lawyer, you don't have to be there. But if you're going to be your own lawyer, you can just submit your paperwork. That's a thing. But again, a lot of y'all don't even know that. Y'all walk right into court, hand yourself over to the enemy, and now what you gonna do? So, status law, know your rights foundation, two completely different things. We want you to learn the know your rights part because the police are the first line of offense they use against you. So if you don't know how to defend the first offensive attack, then they got you, and that's what they've been doing for the longest time. That's why they don't they allow the police to have qualified immunity. They don't take it away because the police. So you got the upper class, lower class, right? That's what it was, the middle class. They're trying to erase that. But then the police are right here in the middle, and the police are the barrier between the lower class and the upper class category. So as long as the police are there, I don't care how much they violate your rights. I don't care how much they do that because they save me, the upper class dude, from you, the lower class, the lower class person. So, excuse me. So that's what you have to learn in order to be able to deal, to get through society. First, deal with the first line of offense, the first dude who's going to attack you. If you don't know how to deal with that dude, how can you deal with anything else?
Yeah, I get that, but I guess my question maybe maybe I didn't make it clear. Is there also a class or classes dealing with?
Well, no, no, we do different. So Know Your Rights Foundation is just that. And then the status class, if you want to do status class,
that's what I'm saying. You do have status class. That's what I'm asking.
That's real. That's me. That's not Know Your Rights Foundation.
Right. That's not the free.
That's real Nagas. Real Nagas has status class. Know Your Rights Foundation, which is a different.
Is a foundation. Okay.
Yeah, that's something different.
That's what I was just going to clarify because there may be someone who is, was ready to go or will go through the whole process and say, now I want to learn how to correct my status. So that I just wanted to know that is something you offer under whatever banner you offer it under Real Nagas.
Real Nagas. On the Patreon, there's status class. You can sign up to one of the status class levels on the Patreon channel. And at the highest level, I give you your paperwork for free. When you're able to explain the paperwork to me, I give it to you for free because I need you to know the law. I don't need your money. So, when you're able to, when you study, all the classes are on there, recorded, pre-recorded. You can take as much time as you need to learn the classes. But when you know it and you hit me up, and you say, all right, I think I can explain the paperwork. And if you're able to explain it, I just give it to you for free. I don't make you pay for it.
Okay.
So, but that's only that's the status on the Real Naga side. Know Your Rights Foundation is a completely different entity. But I do teach police stop law on my Real Nagas class though. So there's a level where you can join in on police stop law that I have in the Real Nagas.
Yeah. Someone said that status. Oh, where'd it go? Status doesn't stop unlawful warrants.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Regular law stops unlawful warrants. See, you talking about status? Again, you don't need status to do that. You can use regular law to stop an unlawful warrant. See, y'all don't even know. There's arrest warrant. There's search warrant. There's different. On an arrest warrant, a police officer can't come in your house. But they'll tell you that they can. Like y'all don't, and on the search warrant, a search warrant is lists only specific things. They can't go all around in your house. It only says that they can search certain specific things. So again, y'all, the law.
But we've seen where they have, torn up somebody's property, totally, ransacked the place and busted the door down and so forth. And we've seen those things. I don't know whether these victims end up getting any type of restitution that we don't know about, but just to, it's such a violation. And, when you see the way they, but then I've seen videos where sisters have stood at the door and pretty much, and let the policy enforcers know you can't come in my house and don't come back here. I've seen,
You have the right to do that.
Nobody called you. There's nothing going on in here that concerns you. What if, I haven't done anything? No, and don't come back.
That's right. Yeah, there was a famous video of a sister doing that. The police tried to walk into her house, and she told the dude behind her, because she knew more law than him. She told him to shut up, and she told the police to get there, and she cursed them out and told them to get the hell out of the house. But yeah, if you again, guys, police, their whole power comes from the fact that you don't know the law. That's where all their power comes from. They actually count on it. They count on you not knowing the law. And even if you act like you know the law, sometimes they don't know the law, but they'll challenge you to make sure you know the law. So they like, do you really know what you think you know? And so then they'll challenge you, because the violation of your rights is how the system usually works now. It's, they have arrest quotas and ticket quotas and all these different things. So they have to drum up most of this stuff. That's just the fact of the matter. They have to drum up. They have to create crime. You understand? And so they're going to create it mostly with you, melanated people. They ain't gonna go to the Caucasian neighborhoods and create crime. Why? Because they got lawyers and shit who they can pay $500 and $1,000 an hour to sue the police officers and and reprimand them. You don't have that. They know that. That's why 90% of tickets come from melanated neighborhoods and Hispanic neighborhoods. They ain't giving tickets out to the Caucasian people. They not doing that. So you have to learn how to defend against that. Again, in martial arts, if somebody's punching me in the face, so he keep punching me in the face, I gotta learn how to block and do that, or duck and do that. But don't just stand there while somebody's going like, you feel that yet? They just beating the crap out of you.
That's true. That's true.
Do something.
Yeah, there are lots of things we can do. Like I said, I saw somebody put something, importance of love, and yes, love is important. I say that often, and unity. Again, we have to stop fighting each other, and
Sure.
And if we keep fighting each other, which as we've done for such a long time, they don't have to really fight us. They just scoop us up as we're knocking each other out. Yep, there's another one, because we're doing the heavy work. We're doing the heavy lifting without being by not being unified, by not working together, by not seeing the deception of I don't even know to call it deception, but the fact that a lot of things that we're going through are orchestrated, or scripted. Scripted is the word I'm using now. Scripted, and so and predictive. They already know how we are going to respond, because it is there's a history of it, and we've got to break the cycle.
Yes.
Of being
the cycle is, again. So there is something called bulldozing. So there's a bull. So the word bulldozer, everybody know what a bulldozer is, right? This big machine that knocks down houses and whatever the hell is in its way, right? So the word bulldozer comes from the term bulldozing. That's where it comes from. And bulldozing was back in the the Jim Crow era, and right after the Reconstruction. The police officers who were off duty they were the Klan members. They would go to the voting booths and places like that, and they would beat melanated people. They would beat them so bad they gave them what was called a bull's dose of a beating. They would beat you like you was a bull. That's literally where the word bulldozer comes from. Look it up. You can look up the etymology of bulldozer. It says it comes from beating. It comes from beating. From those eras. So they beat your ass so bad back then that they named a machine after how bad they used to beat your ass. And so they would discourage you from learning the law or participating in government. That's how they got you so scared and out of it. They would beat you out of it. So whenever you thought to get involved in government or the law, you was like, hell no, nigga, them crazy ass white motherfuckers over there, they beat the hell out of niggas over there. So you got terrified from that. There was trauma. There was some emotional trauma that happened from bulldozing. Go look it up. That was a real thing that used to happen when you tried to get involved in government back in the day. They scared the hell out of you by beating the shit out of you during that. So now you fast forward to today, you still have that emotional trauma within you that's been passed on and passed on.
What do they call that? Epigenetics.
Epigenetics. Yeah. That's been passed. That fear has been passed on from your mom and them telling you, hey, don't you mess with the police. When the police come, you put your hands on the steering wheel, you make sure the light is on, you don't say nothing wrong to the police, you understand?
Say yes, sir.
Yeah, you say yes, sir, and you don't make sure you don't look him in the eye and all this and all that came from bulldozing. Seriously, all of that fear came from bulldozing. I want y'all to go research bulldozing. This is where your fear of law and government comes from, because you created law and government. You were mastering that shit right around the Reconstruction. Right in the Reconstruction, this is why I said melanated people, you need restitution, not reparation. Because right after the Reconstruction, you were balling. You understand how big y'all were balling right after the Reconstruction? Y'all had like 30-something banks. 100 and something banks. You had 1,000 businesses. I mean, y'all were mashing out. You had cities all over this country, melanated cities. Black Wall Street was just one Wall Street.
Wilmington, North Carolina. There's a book called Wilmington's Lie.
Uh-huh.
You get it, Wilmington's Lie. Because you said it wasn't just
one. We had so many.
And they were so jealous.
Yes.
They were so jealous that they as the band said, you dropped a bomb on them.
Because melanated, people don't understand, right after slavery, melanated people had all the skills. So when they freed the slaves, the Caucasian work population, labor population, they didn't have no real skills because all the slaves was doing mostly every damn thing. So when we took our skills and started applying them to ourselves. We were like, all right, I don't gotta work for the Caucasian man no more. All right, we over here. And so we started building cities and everything, using those skills to build up our communities. And they were like, oh hell no! Nah. If we allow that to happen, they will overtake us because they have all the skills. They're just as smart as us. We're not smarter than them. So if they're just as smart and they have better skills, doesn't take a genius to see, and before too long, they're going to run this country.
And you know what struck me as you said that? It made me think of the story in the Bible about the Tower of Babel. And if we allow them to build this, reach this heights,
right.
There's nothing that we can. And so, more and more I see the correlation between things that we thought happened a long time ago, and the things that they were writing about that were actually happening within our, maybe our immediate ancestors, our grandparents, and so forth. Maybe back as far as great grandparents, but it was in that era. We're not talking 2,000 years ago or 3,000. No, we talking. So they wrote these codes, and I wish we could get into it a little bit because I know you, like me, we're Christians, but the more and more I begin to study some other folks that are studying and showing the truth about stuff, it takes all the spooky out. And I wondered going through the Bible, where was America? Where are we in it? And then I come to realize all over it. It's all about, probably the rise and fall of our people.
Yeah, look, all of the history that's been plagiarized. It's all about they revamp our history. But again, I like to deal with fear because fear is the greatest thing that will debilitate you.
Absolutely.
They've done research on that. Fear is the lowest frequency that you can have, whereas love is the highest frequency that you can have. And so with that information, this is scientific information. They found that fear basically it's a fear and love are like waves of vibration, and fear is a very slow wave of vibration, right? Like this. So they measured it. They basically took some DNA They put DNA in a vacuum, and then they took the vibration. They took these frequencies of fear and love, because it's an actual frequency that you can measure. So they took fear and they submitted, or they put the vibration of fear, frequency of fear in the tube with the DNA, and it barely did anything to the DNA. So your DNA has antenna on their DNA. This is what they'll call it. They'll call it antenna, or certain points on your DNA that's supposed to be. They don't know what most of them are for. But they only know that, like, out of 64, only 20 something are turned on. 22 are turned on. But when they put the DNA in this vacuum and they put the love frequency in it, the love frequency was going like this, and it was touching all these points, these DNA points, and basically the antenna on your DNA waking up the DNA is what they found. So with that information, with that scientific information, the so-called leader or rulers of this system, they understand that, okay, if I pump out this fear frequency, then that allows me to take control over the rest of the people who are subjected to this fear frequency. And that's, again, first of all, that's a total thing. That's for the whole, for the whole world. They'll pump that out, but especially for America. But then, especially for melanated people in America, they keep us in this fear tactic. Again, the number one thing that keeps us in fear is the popo. And if y'all say it ain't, y'all bullshitting. Y'all know. Unless y'all spiritual or some shit, then y'all be like, oh, it's God and the devil. But if you really understand, you really know, then it's the popo that brings the most fear to everybody in the community. When you're driving down the street and you see that black and white car, your heart starts jumping out of his chest. They don't even got to be looking. They don't got to be looking at you. If you see in your rearview mirror, you see a black car following a white car, but you can't make it out. I've seen this before, where a black car and a white car was following behind somebody and the person got scared. The person driving thought it was a police car because the black and white blended together. They got so damn scared. So with that type of fear, why would you deal with that type of fear when you don't have to? When all you have to do is just sit down for a little time and learn the rules to the game and completely alleviate that fear. Completely alleviate it. So again,
that's right. Fear is, while you were saying that, I remembered I had created, you won't be able to see it, but I created something. I want to say it was after the 2016, maybe when Trump came in election. And I'm just gonna read this, and it's a green heart on a black and white background, but it says, I wrote, ask yourself, how will all the quote unquote gloom and doom post-election conversations, reactions, and outcries contribute to what we will ultimately see manifest? Let's not assist the order out of chaos paradigm, raise our collective vibration through our heart chakra and radiate love rather than fear and hatred. Try it. Love is a powerful weapon of mass construction. Let's build and expand. And it still holds true.
Yeah.
Still, they talk about weapons of mass construction. It's mass construction. It builds. It builds. Right. It connects. Like you said, the vibration and the outreach and the synapses that happen from love, if you will, can be measured.
That's right.
And it starts to connect, like they used to say, from heart to heart and breast to breast, because we were talking about love. And didn't know, and back then I didn't know anything about no chakra.
No, you'll know. You can feel that.
Yeah, but we know there was something. So there's a truth to it, even though they were giving it to us in a woo-woo.
The scientific type of way.
The religious. It was the religious explanation, but not the fact that it is a scientific fact. And and a spiritual, if you will, fact. But religion is different from spiritual. That's dogma. So we are so programmed, like you said, in our fear. We don't realize that the thing, and they told us in the scripture, in the book of Job, he said, the thing that I fear the most has come upon me. So, in other words, he said, the thing that I was afraid of all this time to manifest. Mm-hmm. And you put it in second. I done manifested some shit because I've been afraid of it or thinking about it.
That's right.
So much that it happened.
And then, in martial arts, we're taught, like, if you fight somebody and somebody beats you with a certain technique, go master that technique what he beat you with, so he can never have that power over you again. So again, melanated people, they keep beating your ass with the law. Why the hell won't you go master that? That makes no sense to me. It's just common sense that if somebody's beating you with something that you can go figure out and learn, go master it so that they can't do that no more. Why that's just common sense to me. Again, so there's a dude that I'm gonna end with this, but there's a character that I always use as an example of learning the law. Now, I don't necessarily condone doing what he did, but this teaches you how knowing the law is so important. So there was a dude named Lopez Soto who was traveling in California, got pulled over by the police because he didn't have his registration on his car. When the police officer looked, he walked up, he talked to him. He said, "Oh, my registration is in the windshield." And he said, "Oh," the police officer says, "Oh," he says, "Well, it's right there. Go look at it." So the police officer went around, he looked in the windshield, he looked in the car, he tried to look in the car for the windshield. And when he looked in the car, he saw foil on the ground. He's like, "What's this?" And so he looked a little bit and he saw a little bit and he's like, "Oh," and it was weed packed in the car. So this dude, Lopez Soto, had 900 pounds of weed that he was transporting in his car, and the police found it, right? Basically arrested him, obviously confiscated the weed. But Lopez Soto challenged, he said that I was pulled over unlawfully because I'd had my registration. So he challenged it and it got thrown out. 900 pounds of weed got thrown out. So like I don't
they probably didn't give it back to it. They probably didn't return the weed, but
no, of course not. They didn't give his weed back. But Lopez Soto is free, and he was transporting 900 pounds of weed because he understood the law. So again, everybody, knowing the law will free you.
I see something here. I'm just gonna run it down before you go out because if it needs to be corrected. Someone says House Resolution 333. Now, unless I put the wrong one, has nothing to do with what that brother was mentioning. Is that
anyway?
That is the right number, right? I just want to verify that.
House Congressional Resolution 333.
Okay, then if that's what you say,
I teach it all the time in law class. Whatever you didn't find it, you just didn't look hard enough.
Yeah, maybe
I teach it all the time. I showed it, so if you want to see it, I show it.
Whoever it is didn't put the congressional thing there. They just put House Resolution.
Right, House Resolution. In the video I did 40 Acres and a Fool, which talks about all of this. So you can go check that out. 40 Acres and a Fool. I show the congressional resolution in the video. It's scrolling down the resolution as I'm reading it. It's on screen.
I believe you, but I just want folks to say things with authority and but here I put someone wanted to know so for the classes to volunteer www.knowyourrightsfoundation.org for the police stop. There you are, sister who was asking, and anybody else. I got that scrolling there along the bottom. So I'm trying to figure out which name. Kevin. I'll leave your government name alone. Real Nagas, Magoose 9. Thank you. Thank you so much. Look, thank you so much for this spirited conversation. I don't know if we talked about a whole lot of ish, but we did. We talked. It was all.
No, this needs to be talked about. I'm only able to talk about this most of the time on my channel. So most melanated people, they need to hear this. That you can be free as long as you sit down and learn the rules to the game. That will free you. There's so many examples I could give you that we have from police stop law class. People come the first day and they like, "Oh snap, I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know we could do this. I didn't know we could do that." Yes, you can. The police have no power over you other than what you give them. period. So get out there, learn your rights, learn them so that you can teach it to your kids, because they're the first people that are preyed on by the police, because our children, melanated children, look old when they're young. And so you'll have a 14-year-old kid that's like 6'2" in the hood, and the police are just on him and just mangling him, because they know he's a child, but because he looks old, they feel that they can get away with harassing the child. So again, get like this parent did and arm your child like the 17-year-old, and so they can smash on these police, and we can get out of this fear and actually get some stuff done.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on and for this information. And folks, listen, you may or may not agree. You may have strong feelings about your Moorish nationality versus.
I'll say this: if you don't agree, prove me wrong.
Right. Well,
that's what I say. You don't agree, prove me wrong. Do your video, and where you were disagreeing with anything I said, do a video where you can show what I said was wrong. If not, get your ass out and learn your damn rights. Because if you can't prove me wrong, then you need to be learning your rights.
It's never anything. I don't think you can never go wrong learning how to protect yourself. So that part is important. Even if you don't agree with everything that was said, you need to know the law. You absolutely do need to know the law. So again, I am very grateful for you again coming on the show. I guess I don't know how many years it's been that when I first discovered you on when I used to watch you on oh gosh, what was that?
The Zoe What Show?
The Zoe What Show. The Zoe What Show. You were probably one of the first celebrities, I call it celebrities, that I watched and say, I like that guy. One of these days I'm gonna get him on the show. And I manifested it back, so
Oh yeah, make sure you guys check out the Zoe What Show too. That's every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. West Coast time. We do a current event show, but it's all about consciousness, where we all breaking down. We have a good time. It's funny. We all laugh, and it's a great time. So
we were talking about the Moorish back then. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, we were doing some. We had. Yeah, you probably saw the one we did where it was called Moorish History for Dummies.
It was some years ago. It was some.
Yeah.
It was that
was the one. Yeah, you guys can look that up. That's online. We did a show called Moorish History for Dummies on the Zoe What Show. Go look that one up.
Zoe, Z-O-E.
Yeah.
What?
No, Zoe, Z-O.
Z-O. Okay.
No. Yeah, just Z-O. Zoe Williams. If you want.
So what? Right.
Yeah, he used to be on the Corey Holcomb 5150 show, for anybody who know about that. But so Zoe Williams, who was on the Corey Holcomb 5150, just type that in. Zoe Williams, Moorish History for Dummies. You'll see that.
Yeah, good information. Hey, this was good. I think for a short notice, really, really good. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you all. Your comments, pro or con, it's all right. Long as you're respectful. People have a right to disagree. But just don't be disagreeable in your disagreement. And that's the way that's the problem I see with us. I appreciate you too, Sister Bay L. I appreciate you too. I believe that's you. I'm saying Sister, maybe Brother there. I don't know who I think that's her. Anywho, I appreciate all of you all. If you weren't here at the very beginning of the show, I'm going to share as we go, and I'm not going to hold you any longer. You might have something you want to do. Do. It's still early out there. It's nighttime here, but it's day here. Yeah, you all. If you were not here at the very beginning of the show, I put this up, and I basically was letting you all know that I need your help. So I found this platform, and it can host up to 10,000 viewers and multiple presenters. In other words, and 10,000 folks can actually be registered and on a live stream class, not like this. We're not on Facebook and YouTube, but privately. But I have to get together 2,500 notes like in the next 4 days in order to secure this this rate for this annual rate. And so I figured it out, and at least 500 or even 400 of you all would donate $5 or 5 notes that I can get this platform secured. And then we'll be able to start having those, what we were going to call Zoom classes, and even the Women Are Ready classes, and anything else, even others will be able to use the platform to have special closed presentations. So if you want to be a part of helping, I need it like immediately. I mean, I need y'all like before I get off the air, I need y'all sending like, if you send 1 note, it's still okay, but 500 folks with 5 notes, and I'll be able to pay for this. Otherwise, y'all, we gonna get it, even if I have to scrounge it out of my own household stuff to do it, because it needs to be done. We've been promising you that we were going to do some things that were private, that we can really tell you the down and dirty and the up, the truth about some things that we can't talk about. Finally, the platform that I'm on right now has added a new feature. It is called webinars, and it's probably the best price I've seen. I've been checking for the last maybe a month and a half, trying to find a platform that would accommodate a large number of folks. And this is the best price that I've seen for that many folks. So if you want to be a part of helping, you can send it to the Cash App, you can send it to PayPal, you can say webinar, say whatever you want, but whatever comes in the next 4 days is going to go towards this amount that I need to, so I can get this platform, and we'll start having the webinars. I just wanted to share that with you all. I appreciate you. I appreciate especially those of you who have answered the call to the fact that, we have expressed, Red Sheik and I have expressed, just needing some ongoing support. I appreciate you all. You all, some of you have really, really stepped up to the plate, and I want you to know we appreciate you. But if you want to be a part of us getting this platform off the ground, so that you all will be able to have a closer, more up close and personal webinars, seminars, conferences, even 10,000 of y'all can be on at one time. And hey, Kevin, maybe we can get one of you. You can come on and do a class. Get you to come and do some special class on that stuff, And but we just need your help. So if you want to be a part of it, if you can, whatever you can send, it doesn't matter. But I just figured, look, 5 times 500 is 25, and maybe 5 times 400. I'll put.
Come on, got that? Come on, y'all.
Look, I'll pay the 5. I'll pay the last 5. I'll take it out of my pocket. But if everybody else puts $5, I'll put 500, and we'll be able to pay for it for the year. And the best thing about it, I know, Kevin, you were saying, like, do you need 10,000 spaces for 10,000? We got 28,000 subscribers. So if we do something and 10,000 of them want to come on, I mean, we can't do that on Zoom. We can't do that on, and the prices are even more astronomical. And I like the fact that StreamYard is offering this brand new platform, and they're giving you a lifetime lock-in at 50%. So it's like, I'd rather grow into it, right? I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay? So thank you again so much, each and every one of you all, for tuning in and for your comments and all that stuff. And please, it's still 300 some of you on here, so it's enough for y'all to say 5 notes to one of those things. And I'm hoping that by the time we come back on Friday with Grand Sheik, I can tell you that we have the platform, so we can start to do those kinds of things. So thank you again. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Next time I'm gonna give you at least you know what? I had to break it up. I've been having, which is not a problem. I've been having a lot of sisters on, and I was like, gosh, I thought I haven't any more brothers on the show lately. So you had to break the cycle. Now I can bring another sister on here.
Hey, I'll break the cycle.
Listen, thank you so much. Thank you. And until next time, listen.
Thank you.
Next time I won't mess up the stuff. I'm not tripping.
I'm not tripping.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. Love you more. Thank you all. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? Yeah, that's me. 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 Dr. G. Really?